All aboard the Sony Express, next stop, Deja Vu. All aboard the Sony Express, next stop, Deja Vu. All aboard the Sony Express, the next stop, the Sony A7 FX3. Yeah! Are you excited for the video or the camera? I'm a little worried as to what you're about to do to me here, Rust. Ow! So that's him out of the way. Let's talk about this new FX. No, actually, I'm going to have a bit of a lie down. Dave, come back and finish this, will you? I just cannot be arsed. Oh, you've changed your tune now. So, yes, seems Sony are like buses. You wait 4 years for the A7SIII replacement, and then two come along in the space of 6 months. I mean, fundamentally, it looks like the FX3 is the A7S III with a cage welded onto it and no viewfinder. And when the rumours all started flying around about this camera, it looked like the big selling point over the S3 was going to be that it had the A7SIII tone colour profiles that are found in the bigger FX cameras that isn't found in the A7S III. But then that all went apart a couple of days ago when it was leaked that Sony are going to be releasing a firmware update for the S3 that is going to add A7SIII tone. Now, don't get me wrong, the A7S III was and still is an incredibly impressive camera. So, by extension, the FX3 is literally just as good. But there's no major difference at all. Not even much in the way of a difference between one is more stills focused and one is more video focused. Apart from the fact of things like the FX3 has screw threads built into the body that aren't on the S3. To get them on the S3, you'd have to add a cage first. And there's a fan on the FX3. So if you're planning on filming a 4-hour video inside a sauna, now you're sorted. But it seems odd because one of the big deals of the A7S III in all the reviews was the fact of how long it is now able to shoot without overheating that previous cameras were plagued with. Although I'm pretty sure there's going to be a prominent someone who puts the FX3 inside an oven and then tries to claim it overheats after 8 seconds, mentioning no names. The past couple of days when all of the leaked images of the FX3 were starting to appear online, I did see a lot of people who were disappointed because they've already bought the A7S III and now they're seeing the FX3, which seemed like an improved camera for the same sort of money. Honestly, I don't think that is quite the case. As an all-rounder camera, the A7S III, I think, is still the better option. While both cameras are fundamentally the same, they can both shoot the same video quality, they can both shoot the same stills quality, I think the ergonomics of the A7S III are better suited to a hybrid video and stills camera, whereas the FX3 has shifted all the way more to being video focused with just the added ability of being able to take stills. I think if you're someone that shoots both stills and videos, regardless of by what percentages, whether it's 90-10 in favor of shooting video, I'd still personally go for the A7S III because I think for the 90% of the time that you're shooting video, the A7S III is still a phenomenal camera for that. But that 10% of the time that you're shooting stills, things like the viewfinder and those slightly better controls, the positions of the buttons, etc., are probably going to be much more favorable to you. I think the FX3 is only really going to appeal to people who shoot video for 100% of the time. For most people, the S3 still a perfectly good camera. But if you were someone who's already bought the S3 and you're now disappointed that you would have preferred the FX3, don't worry, there's a simple solution to this. You get a hacksaw, you lob off the viewfinder, you stick a cage onto the whole thing, and then you spray it all up grey, and boom, FX3-ish. I wonder what we're going to see next. I wonder if we're going to see like a baby APS-C cinema camera, the FX6100. Although, sod's law for that one, they'll probably stick a chunking great big viewfinder right in the middle for that one. I think the biggest mistake, however, that Sony have made with the FX3 is to not have a built-in ND filter. That is a feature found in the FX6 and the FX9, I believe, and it was something a lot of people were hoping to see in the A7S III that never materialized, and I suspect there was a lot of people hoping to see that in the FX3 because it's a baby cinema camera, but they've not. They've made it near enough a carbon copy of the feature set of the A7S III. Now, I know a built-in ND filter would probably have jacked the price up quite a bit, and they're seemingly trying to keep this as a more entry-level, budget-friendly cinema camera, but I think they probably could have made the trade-off of getting rid of IBIS. I personally, although I don't know, I'm not a proper video shooter, but I imagine a lot of video shooters would have preferred to have an ND filter in favor of IBIS. Probably would have preferred both, but I think given the choice, more people would have favored the ND. And I think that would have then at least given a bit more of a distinction between the A7S III and the FX3. But that's just my opinion for nothing that it's worth. What do you guys make of the FX3? Leave your thoughts and comments in the box down below. While you're down there, if you enjoyed this video and you haven't already done so, then please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. He knows it's the end of the video already, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.